Hello everyone, this is Coach Sean, and we have finished reviewing the hitting video from early December, and we're now just putting together your hitting lessons. There's some things that are common amongst a lot of our hitters that the videotape is showing us, and I just wanted to start by reviewing some of these things so that everybody can become familiar with them, what they are, how they affect your swing, what you can do to correct it, practice drills, etc. What I'd like everyone to do after you read these things is stop your video, go online, go to our website, saintsbaseball.club. Once you're at the website, saintsbaseball.club, I would like you to go to the features page, and I'd like you to watch the following videos. The first one I would like you to watch is Fix Your Flat Swing, Master the Snap Drill. I believe this drill is essential in any hitter's swing. If you do not move your hands, turn the triangle, snap the bat rearward, and pull your hands through a swing, you're not going to have your best swing. You're not going to be able to attack the balls on the corners and things of that nature. A flat swing is going to have trouble hitting outside and inside pitches. What we are trying to build with our hitters is a complete hitter, somebody with no holes in their swing that can attack all the balls in the zone and drive the ball from gap to gap at your 18 to 22 degree upward plane, thusly making each hitter the best they can be. So again, if you do not snap your bat correctly, this drill is perfect for slowing it down, duplicating it, mimicking the process, and is something that everybody should be able to do or know about so that they can work on getting there in the future. So again, I'd like you to start by watching those two videos. I think 3 videos associated to that part of the drill. The second thing I'd like you to watch is casting your hands in the swing. It's the second video on the page. Casting your hands is something that most of our hitters are doing. A large number of them anyway are doing. And casting the bat, simply put, will flatten your swing. Okay, it's the incorrect use of your hands in the swing that flattens your plane of your bat, which is going to make you, again, have difficulty hitting inside and outside pitches. It's going to give you holes in your swing, and this is a great video series so that you can understand what it is, how you're doing it, and again, ways to fix it. So that's very important. Thirdly, loose hands drill. It's lower down on the page, and I have a feeling from watching these videos that not everybody's holding their bats correctly. The bat should be held very loosely, and every one of our players should investigate using a grip aid, whether it's pine tar or the tacky waxy substances, something of that nature. But if you look at a major league on deck circle, there's probably 4 or 5 grip aids that the batters are using every at bat before they go to bat in most cases. And on the Saints team, we've got literally 1 or 2 people using pine tar, and not on a regular basis. So again, I would like all the players to understand how to grip a bat, the best way to grip a bat, why they're gripping it that way, and how it contrasts with what they're doing. And I'd like them to try to mimic and copy the folks in these hand drills so that they can, again, feel the difference in the swing with loose hands. So we've got that video. We've got the Justin Turner's loose hands bat grip, which all that does is show his loose grip preload. Again, very important for the kids to get that, let it sink in, and see if they can change their grip to get their hands and wrists looser in the swing. So go ahead and go watch those and then come on back to your lesson. Okay, now that you've done that, let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to achieve here. In general, a hitter that is approaching 15 years old, or by the time he reaches 16, he should be very proficient at covering the zone, meaning having a swing that will produce a line drive anywhere from gap to gap at anywhere from 16 to 22 degree upward trajectory. A player should be able to hit a pitch in that direction that is anywhere in the zone. That is a batting practice or soft toss pitch or off a tee. Okay, yes, it's a different thing when you put a live pitcher in there throwing top speed for your age group, but by age 15, 16 at the latest, you should be very well accomplished with the quick short swing that covers the whole zone, that puts the ball into the right place. So what we're trying to do is build that with each player, and what we're seeing from just a few flaws, not a lot of stuff needs to be cleaned up with a lot of our hitters, but this snap drill and how you initiate the swing and casting the hands are the two biggest things we need to fix so that our kids can get on the trajectory of being able to hit a ball in the strike zone where they need and want to hit it. So our goal is trying to get you all in that direction. So that's what we're working on here. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So the first thing I want to show you here is this hitter performing the snap drill. And let's just roll it so you can see it. Okay, let's play it live. You see how he does it nice and slow, making sure he's keeping everything in its right position with the right sequence. And this drill right here, we're going to call the snap drill. And I believe every one of our hitters on our team needs to practice this a lot on a regular basis. Even after you master it, you need to keep doing it just to make sure it stays regular and an easy feeling for you. And let's take a look at some of the breakdown on this thing here. So what you're trying to achieve is more of a horizontal or downward swing. As you can see at the point of contact, so to speak, the angle of his bat. Okay. That angle right there is what you're trying to achieve on most pitches, not an outside and high pitch, for example, but for a lot of the pitches on the plate, that's the angle you're trying to achieve, okay? So, of course, he did that and achieved that angle by starting with a good triangle with this 90 degrees. He's got a proper hand grip. Okay, look at that really close. And as you move it forward here, he's snapping the bat rearward. Snapping the bat rearward. And one important thing in being able to do that, which is also part of the snap drill teachings, is this right here. The right forearm for a right-hander, left forearm for a left-hander. This degree should always be close to 90 degrees at all times until you get into the power V, or the tail end of your swing. So as you watch that angle through the swing, you can see he's kept it more or less at contact right there. Okay? So the relationship of the forearm to the bat should always be 90 degrees. When you start the swing, the first movement here, there's his go right there. His triangle starts to turn, his bat comes rearward, his forearm and bat are at 90 degrees, and he simply maintains that posture through the swing. And you can see there he really starts to get his left elbow moving forward and around and up, and starts plunging his left shoulder rearward. Okay? So as you watch this here, see how far that left shoulder or left elbow is going to maintain his 90 degrees. Now he's essentially turned his triangle all the way, and it's facing the pitcher. Okay? If you do not, which a lot of our hitters don't, if you do not turn that elbow up and out, that elbow will stop right where it's at. Okay? If your elbow stops in here, which a lot of our players' elbows do, if you're stopping here, the only place for the arms and hands to then go, the forearms and the hands, is out and around that elbow. Okay? So these are then going to come outward. Okay? That would be his arm extended right there, so to speak. If he stops the elbow, this hand has nowhere to go but out and around the elbow. Okay? Which will make you cast your bat, which will give you a flatter swing plane and make it tough to reach inside pitches and outside pitches on a regular basis. So again, this snap drill is something everybody should grab a wiffle ball bat, stand in front of a mirror, practice this methodically, slowly, until you get it and it's comfortable. And once it's comfortable, you should continue to do it on a regular basis. Okay? So let's flip this for our left-handers. Let them take a look. Okay, this drill is real easy to practice as well. What you do is you get in the batter's box with a tee, you get your feet lined up, you take and you measure the distance from the hands to the sweet spot of your bat, and you get in this position, put the bat near the ball, you recreate this whole position right here, and then you simply back it up to your load and you slowly proceed between the 2 points until you can do it quickly and correctly. Okay, so I want everybody to work on that. I want you to do it at home. I want you to do it in the cages, at practice. I really want everybody to concentrate on gaining what it feels like to start your swing like this. Very important. Okay, here's another version of the snap drill. It should also be practiced with one hand. This is the portion of the drill where you're concentrating on a 90-degree or a perpendicular angle, 90 degrees from the bat to your left elbow or your forearm or your right forearm if you're right-handed. Let's watch this gentleman demonstrate the drill. So along with the other version of this, everybody should practice this on a regular basis. You should get it to feel as comfortable as possible, and some of the things to remind you of here is you can see how the elbow and everything starts to slot and everything works together simultaneously. The same thing with the two-hand snap drill, okay? So now we've got this flipped for right-handed players to see what it looks like. Okay, so again, the ability to do this and master these drills and get a good feel for handling the bat like these instructors are. Again, bat speed controls how far and hard we hit the ball. So you want to gain as much bat speed as possible, and you can see the whip from laying it down like this is how you're going to gain more bat speed, okay? That's how early bat speed is gained. The second thing it's going to do for you, it's going to get the bat on the right path, which is going to help you hit more balls where you want to hit them. So keep all that in mind as you're practicing this drill. And the third way to practice the snap drill is with a PVC pipe. Okay, and here is the third way to practice the snap drill, and this is with the PVC pipe that was provided to you by Chris, or this could be with a broomstick, something of that nature. And let's just watch this gentleman. You can see how he moves everything simultaneously. Everything's firing at once. The snapping of the hands, the slotting of the right elbow, the upward movement of the left shoulder and elbow to turn the triangle, and bam. Okay, now again, this is exaggerated. You're not going to exactly swing this way every time, but it does show, and by exaggerating, get everything moving in the right direction on the right path. So let's flip it for our left-handers. Okay, so there are the 3 ways to practice the snap drill, and I highly suggest everybody masters these drills. Get them looking just the way these instructors do in the video. Okay? So here we have Justin Turner loaded in here, and I want to take a quick look at the ending of his swing so that we have contrast for later when we get into the individual videos. But you can see he's 3/4 of the way through his swing here, and if we draw a line right here, this line indicates what a lot of our players are doing that are casting their hands. If you cast your hands, what that's going to do, it's going to stop your elbows in this area right here of the swing. It's not going to allow you to get to this position. Okay? So again, take a quick look at that and then parlay that into your swing and see what the differences are. But if you do stop your elbows and cast the bat, that's what's going to give you the rotational, flatter swing. So here is Aaron Judge, and let's look at his full swing. Again, look at the same points. As he's 3/4 the way through his swing here, before contact. You'll see that he maintains his 90-degree relationship with his elbows and triangle. You'll see here that his elbow is way up by his shoulder. His shoulder is moving rearward. And it appears he's got a ball on a pretty good trajectory, and with his bat speed, I'm assuming that's a home run or close to it, right there. He's got a perpendicular relationship here with the bat and the flight of the ball. He pulled his hands inside nicely, and he got some nice results on this swing. So if we look at the front of the swing here, if you look at the hands, and the elbows, you will see that all that stuff moves simultaneously. You will also see his left elbow simply goes upward, like so. So let's go ahead and get into the individual lessons, and we'll discuss some of this stuff in further depth as we have you on the screen here. Okay, Mr. Hastings, here is your video lesson. I just want to let you know at the end of your video lesson, you're going to see your raw hitting clips. What I'd like you to do is just take a look at them and make note of the pitch location versus the where you hit the pitch. Just keep an eye on how consistent you are at putting the ball in play from gap to gap at 16 to 22 degrees upward trajectory. So just keep an eye on that and get an idea of your consistency. And if you pitched, I'm going to put some pitching tape in there too at the end. So keep an eye out on that. Let's get into your action plan. Okay, Chris, after watching your film, this is a list of things that we should talk about. You should talk about it with other instructors, other coaches. An action plan is something that you can pay attention to on a daily basis in regards to what you need to prove, what you need to do to improve them, and it gives you a roadmap on how to proceed on a day-to-day basis on improving this stuff. So the things that I see in your swing that you can improve on and you can improve on to help you out, get you a better swing, more consistent contact in the direction you want to take the ball, and most of all, more power. You're leaving a lot of power on the table with certain ways you move your body, but the first thing is the snap drill and the laser drill. You have a waggle in your bat that moves your bat. As you're standing in the box, it would be from front to back. If you're the pitcher looking at you from that view, it would be side to side. But you've got a little bit too much movement in your bat there, and it kind of throws you into a casting position. There's a different way to move it and still have that waggle. If you want, I can show you how to do that, but you're basically, that waggle's controlling the initial movement of your bat into the improper direction. So that's the first thing that I would like to see you improve upon. The second thing is you very often get, or seldom, you don't very often get the proper arm extension and the proper power V without getting into that power V on most of your swings. And again, on some swings you can't. Extreme inside pitches, you're not always going to get fully extended, but you should always try and you should always practice to get it. But on soft toss, front toss, anytime you're not facing top velocity pitchers, you're in practice mode, you should always be able to do it. But not getting the full extension quite simply is robbing your swing of power. If you're not going to fully extend, you're not going to get maximum bat whip. You're not going to get maximum exit velocity off the bat. So it's just a very simple situation. If we can improve upon that, we're going to give you a little bit more power too. So thirdly, I don't see that your grip, is real bad. I don't see a big flaw in it. I haven't looked at it that close, and I can't see it that well on this tape. So I'd just like to, visit this issue with you in the cage, see how you're holding the bat, see if there's any other options or ways to hold the bat that might improve your swing. A lot of times how we hold the bat, can improperly move or control the bat. So, and then there's the grip aid and the pine tar. There's a reason that, 99% of all major league players use it, and yet only one or two of our Saints players use it. I mean, there's got to be a good reason these guys are using it. I don't think it's just for recreation. So let's look and see if, the pine tar helps you pull the bat and do some other things here. So let's visit that when we can. Stay quiet through the entire swing. You'll see that your swing, you're lunging backwards quite a bit, actually one full body length from your ready position that you see right here. You move your body backwards one full body length, and your head comes down a good 6 inches or more. Um, Again, there's been elite hitters that have had, rearward moves and downward moves. Don Mattingly comes to mind. I know he moved down quite a bit. But you should really set yourself up as a hitter to just basically step and load with your hands and feet and be ready to crush the ball. The less movement you have in a swing, the less things that you have to time up with the pitcher. So it's just a simple fact of hitting. The more streamlined and quieter you are, the quicker you can explode. So, if that's something that is a goal, is, your time to impact is a huge stat in baseball, a huge metric. So if you're trying to get quicker, get more bat speed, all of this stuff has to do with, just simplifying your swing. So, the stay quiet thing's really something I'd like you to concentrate on. You can see, and I'll show you in these videos, your head gets laid over almost 90 degrees from your body. You just lay your head down there. Your eyes get on a almost completely different, 90-degree perpendicular from an upright plane of watching the ball where your eyes are even. So, it's got to make a difference, especially when somebody's throwing a top end fastball at you. It's just got to make a difference in the way you pick the ball up. So I'm going to show you that, and I'd like to visit that in the batting cage. And the last thing is your load. It doesn't seem to have enough, on tape. It doesn't look like it has enough tension in it. And then there's also another way, and there's trigger drills that we can practice to where you load and trigger differently. I'd really love to explore these to find out what's comfortable for you and just get you a little more extension uh, in your load, so you can get a little bit more power in your swing. So again, I'm going to show you all this stuff. It's going to be fairly obvious on film. Um, you know, for a player to grow in this game and change, they have to first understand all this stuff. They have to have the knowledge that this stuff's happening, why it's happening, and you got to find out the alternatives and things that you can do. And I'd really like you to take your video and your lesson, if there's other people in the game that you trust. I know you practice with your brother a lot, and maybe he's got coaches that coach him, or school ball coaches, the other people at Diamond Sports, the other Saints coaches. I highly suggest you run this video by as many people as you can. Gather everybody's thoughts. Get an opinion from everybody. Come back to the table. Get an action plan. If it's different than this or same as this one, go to work on these things, or whatever you after talking to everybody you think is going to be best for you to work on, and go to work on this stuff in the cage immediately. Because I can tell you right now, just looking at your swing, if you don't change anything, consistent contact, driving the ball, um, you know, a proper swing is going to drive the ball pitched anywhere in the zone. Right now, with casting your hands and, some of these things in your swing, you're only really going to drive certain pitches, middle pitches and things of that nature. So, again, I didn't write it down here. It kind of, for me, goes with the snap drill, but you are casting your hands as well, and I'm going to show you that in here. So anyway, with that said, let's get into your lesson. Okay, here you are in your ready position, which is right before the load. Okay, and then let's roll this through here. So here you're going to start to load. You're coming down. You're coming back. And now you're one full body length behind where you started. Okay? And your head, your eyes were probably right around. Let's roll it. Okay, so at the height there, your eyes, were around here. And now your eyes are right there. So you've dropped one full head length down. So probably 8 to 10 inches, give or take, whatever. So, again, there's been elite hitters that have been successful with excessive body movement. Um, but that's just a lot of movement when you're trying to catch up to an elite top velocity pitcher, or top velocity for a 14 U league. So uh, there's other ways to do this. I would highly suggest you explore them. Again, this game's all about being consistent. To be consistent, you've got to give yourself every chance to put your best swing on the ball every pitch. And eyesight is maximum. It's the top of the list of importance. If you don't see the ball properly, you don't hit the ball properly. And there is a million major league baseball players that will tell you that. One of them is Edgar Martinez, the Mariners hitting coach. You know, every interview I've ever seen with him about hitting starts with the importance of seeing the ball. So, in fact, when you get to the elite levels of baseball, they do eye exercises exercises and drills to improve that. So, again, when you're moving your head around, it just decreases your chances of seeing the ball correctly and things of that nature. So, okay, same topic of staying quiet at the plate through the whole pitch, the whole process. This is also on that topic. Let's roll this. Now let's look at this movement you've got here. So you're back here. You flip the bat head out away from you. Now you bring the bat head back in, and you can see the bat initially follows that path. Okay? You're laying the bat down this direction. Okay? If I could use a different draw tool here, your bat is going this way and curving that way. Instead of dropping straight behind you into the swing, okay? You can't get on a vertical axis or the Ferris wheel if your bat's moving, that direction. So that's the first thing. That's, again, something critical about staying quiet. I know Gary Sheffield had some similar movement. If you've gotten that from him, I don't know if you've gotten that tip from your brother or just where you found that movement, but I can assure you it's not helping your swing. What you see when people waggle the bat they'll take this thing out in front of their head instead of behind their head in the leg position. But sometimes pre-pitch movement, you'll see guys bring the head of the bat out in front of their head. They're controlling it differently with their hands, and I can show you some video of that if you want to do some one-on-one time in the cages or go in depth with this stuff a little bit further. But they're more wrapping the bat and changing the position of the bat with their hands down here and waggling it out. So, you know, it's hard to maybe explain and show you on tape here, but if you want to look at some videos, I've got some videos on my computer and I can show you exactly what they're doing. If you want to do a movement like that, that would be better for your swing. So again, just remember how we move the bat pre-pitch, pre-launch, pre-swing has a lot to do with what plane our bat gets on. So you know, I was told, you know, that you developed this not too long ago, and the person that told me that didn't know where you got it from, but you'd been doing it for a while. You're obviously doing it because you think it's a good thing or it's helping you or something of that nature, but I can assure you the way you're doing it is not helping your swing. So again, if you watch tape, and I encourage you, all of the players, to watch as much major league hitting video as you can, you're going to see that you just don't see that movement a lot. In fact, you see very, very little movement. So there was a reason at the beginning of the year that I asked every player to watch 5 hitters a week off of the best batting average lists posted on MLB website, and it's so you can see all the different swings out there. And so again, I don't know if you're doing that. If you care enough about improving your hitting, you're going to plug into what the best people in the game are doing, okay? And again, if you want to waggle, I can show you a better way to do it. I recommend not doing it at all, though. So again, that's all regarding your stay quiet thing on your action plan. I think there's, you know, there's a lot of things you can do, and there's a lot of ways to tweak this. You know, and none of these glitches are fatal flaws in and of themselves, and aren't too hard to repair. So keep all this in mind, and we'll move forward here. Okay, so I'm just going to roll your swing back and forth slowly so that on your end you can see what it looks like on tape on the video that I'm going to post. Since you don't have the ability while you're watching your tape to rewind and stop and pause, I'm just going to roll it back and forth real slow so you have a piece of tape where you can really analyze and look at what you're doing. So I don't know if this pitch is inside or middle of the plate. You know, you hit the ball in a really good trajectory, I believe. Let's look at it again here. You handle the ball pretty well. Yeah, it looks like it's a really good hit trajectory somewhere in the middle, maybe gap to gap, maybe, you know, center field area. Um, and this is the point I want to stress. You know, you guys are in practice and you hit some shots like this, and you know, and it you know, it makes you feel good. It sometimes can sometimes be, you know, the kind of situation where, you know, you think you really don't need to work on a whole lot. You just get in the cage and hit some balls like this, and everything's fine. But again, it all comes down to what you can do in the batter's box against an elite pitcher. You know, that's really
what you need to aim for as a hitter is you want to remove all the holes and flaws from your swing so you can perform at a higher level and a more consistent level against elite pitchers. You know, anybody can hop in the cage and hit some soft toss and things of that nature. You need to build a swing. If you want to go far in baseball, you need to build a swing that works against elite pitchers. Okay, and that's the goal that I have when I'm dealing with you guys. If you guys are not on the same page, you guys need to let me know. But I'm hoping and I believe at this point in time, all our guys want to progress in that direction. So this video is going to help show you some of the things that we can improve. So anyway, now you got some tape of yourself there. You can play and pause and rewind that and get a good look at your swing. So let's get into your initial launch of your swing after that pre-pitch movement that you've got. Okay. So let's get down here. You're not in a bad position at all right there, except your bat is moving. I've got this frozen. That's not a bad position at all. I would investigate and tinker with that being your preload position and then just changing it a hair on load. Maybe having the base of your body more equal, but or more balanced. But anyway, here as we progress, you're still reaching back. You start to stretch out and arm bar your left arm. Okay, you see how you're arm barring it there? And that's not a bad thing right there. That left arm, straightening that out. I'll tell you one really good hitter that did it that way, and that's Ken Griffey Jr. He kept a little bend in it too. That's not really a good line. So it's not overly straight, but it's arm barring a little bit. Arm barring when you walk away or step away from the ball or you're loading is not necessarily a huge deal, like I said, as long as from there you get it back into the 90 while you're pulling and maintain the 90. Okay, that's the biggest point for anybody that arm bars and gets this much of a load. So the other thing to notice here is your left arm, your elbows down. And yes, there's a lot of people that teach hitting and believe hitting that you should leave that elbow down. I'm personally not one of them. In my world, you want to create separation, like the rubber band, and tension between your left hip and your right shoulder. And you can see your body looks like it's got a little hunch or it's sucked down a little bit to it. But the mechanism to pull back and away from your body to get that proper tension, it's just like pulling the bow on the bow and arrow. The thing that you're going to do that with is the elbow. If your elbow's up here, your elbow is the mechanism that turns backwards and gives you that tension here for your proper load and release when you trigger. So, this is comfortable for you, and anything that you try new, I'm sure the first words out of your mouth are going to be it's uncomfortable. But the real question is it worth the improvement to go through the uncomfortable phase and practice something enough for it to become comfortable? In my opinion, all these things on your action list are, but I'm just giving you some ideas and thoughts on what I see here. So anyway, you get into your load here. you start to explode, and you can see right off the bat, you start to cast, okay? Your bat is moving this way. Your hands are moving this way. You can see the bat coming out and away from your body, okay? So you're casting your hands, which casts the bat. It's hard to see from this angle. We'll look at the front view, but or the down the line view, but you can see I can tell you've lost a lot of your 90 degree, your shoulder, your left elbow. So your left elbow's right here. Your left elbow should be up here and eventually get up here, okay? You've essentially stopped it here, and when you stop your shoulder here, what we know is when you stop here, your forearm and hands have to go somewhere. Well, where are they going to go? They're going to go outward and around. Now you've got a horizontal swing and not a vertical swing. You've lost the Ferris wheel. You're on the merry-go-round, okay? So you do have, a little bit of casting in your swing. But again, this is an easy fix. It's an easy fix. Remember, the shoulder is going to be thrust up at the same time, simultaneously that the bat's laid down. You pull through the swing, and your elbow and shoulder are all pulling. All that's happening once while maintaining your 90-degree triangle. So as we progress it here, there's contact. Contact's not bad. You always want to strive to have contact within a few inches before or after the front foot. So you're not far off here. There's no real issue with contact there. But on most pitches, you want to practice on most pitches, and you look at your hands, especially in the practice setting, and look at the barrel of your bat. Let's see where it was at contact. Looks like the bat head was probably somewhere in here at contact. So you look at these two, and your barrel head is in front of your hands, okay? Again, a baseball player is going to hit a lot of those that way throughout the season. But again, this is soft toss, this is practice. You always want, in a practice setting, to try to hit the ball opposite field. You can't hit the ball consistently opposite field and keep the barrel even or behind even the hands when you don't come on a vertical plane. Okay, when you're not on that vertical plane, when you are casting your hands outward here, the bat head's going to get ahead of the hands. In the practice setting, you want to get them as even as you can or even behind it and send the ball to the right side of the field. It's just a practice technique to help you time up pitches. So, and of course use and control the bat properly. So we've got all of that. And on this swing here, you do have decent extension, decent power V. If you were on more of a vertical plane, however, what you're going to find and what you strive for is a power V that's pointed at the pitcher, okay? Your power V here is pointed right at the ground, okay? And we'll show you on tape here in a little bit what some other players look like. But if you're rotational, your power V, if you get into it, is going to be always pointing down. The more vertical your swing gets, when you take the bat away better and you start the snap drill correctly, that's going to change. Your power V is going to be in a different position. But the thing to also mention here is you oftentimes don't get this full extension, and your elbows are closer into your body, kind of alligator arms. So anytime you don't get full extension, you're not hitting the pitch as hard as you can hit the pitch. And again, on some pitches in the zone, that will be necessary. But for most of them, you're going to get you should get full extension, especially in practice. So where you're not facing top velocity pitchers. I also want to point out here, you can see how your head's tipped way over to the right. At most hitters in this position of the swing, you're going to see the side of their face. They might be cocked over just a little bit, but you're still going to be able to see them. Their head's more upright, looking right down the arms and the barrel of the bat. This will be much more obvious from the other view, so we'll get into that later as well. Okay, here's a different pitch and swing. Everything is very similar along the way. You can see it's an inside pitch. You can see you're reaching for it there. I can tell it's an inside pitch also because you don't cast as badly. If you were to cast fully there, you would take the pitch off the knuckles. So again, you can see already you still have that bat waggle that moves your bat a little bit in a certain direction, but being that it's inside, you can see that you pull your hands through this swing a little bit better, and that's because it's inside and you have to. So right here, elbow, shoulder, you can clearly see how you move that much better in this swing. But what I want to let you know is you need on every swing to move those elbows and keep that 90-degree triangle and thrust that shoulder back. It's imperative. Even on an outside pitch, it's imperative to do. Now you get out of it quicker, you roll out of your swing sooner when it's an outside pitch. So, you know, when you're watching video, it can trick you a little bit and you can say, look, you know, that guy was casting his hands or whatnot and didn't keep his 90-degree, but you can see they start and they stay in it as long as they can until they have to roll out for contact on an outside pitch. So again, you do those things well on that pitch, you know, or much better. Again, I hope you've watched the snap drill. My biggest point is you can see how high in the snap drill that guy pulls his elbow up. You need to practice it in an exaggerated manner. You're not going to swing all the time like the guy in the snap drill, although some players like Derek Jeter almost do it that much on a regular basis. But the reason you exaggerate it on a slow level is so that you do it to a certain degree when you speed things up when you're in the box live. So again, there's an improvement here in that area of your swing. You could have dropped the bat down differently here. That would have helped out a little bit. And the laser drill, cutting the ball in half with the laser, pointed off the end of the bat, the knob end of the bat. as an extension of the bat. Once you learn and put that little piece of information in your head, hopefully that'll change the way you pull your hands and attack the ball as well. But the biggest point on this film here is that you alligator arm it. You do not get extended here. And again, on certain pitches, even major leaguers will not get extended, okay? But again, this is medium speed pitching. It's nothing too fast. There might be another way to attack that pitch where you do get fully extended. So anyway, just to look at another pitch. All right, Chris, here we have you on a down the line view from the pitcher's perspective. We've got a low pitch right at your knees. This is a strike. And we take this pitch and we hit it what appears to be right to the third baseman on the ground. Okay. What we know about casting the hands in the swing and having a more horizontal swing due to casting the hands. But people that are more horizontal are going to take pitches that are inside and they're going to roll them over more often. And pitches that are outside, they're going to pop them up to the right side more often, okay? So let's just roll this. Let you look at it here. Okay, so here is the beginning of your swing. I've got two lines drawn here, and what you're going to see is this is your left to right, or as you're in the box, front to back bat waggle. Okay. And then you attack the pitch. And we can see here pre-contact that when you cast the bat, move it away from your body, that's going to create losing your 90-degree angle in your elbows. Instead of turning the triangle only, keeping the relationship of everything the same, swinging with your back, okay? At this point in the swing, your left elbow should probably be a little bit higher, a little up in here. We are going to see that your head is laid over almost at a 90-degree angle, almost perpendicular with the ground. They're kind of on that plane right there. Okay. We're going to see your elbows sucked up to your body. You're not getting full extension. Okay, and that's going to rob you of power. We're going to see your left shoulder is even with your head, whereas at this point in the ball game, it should have been maybe thrusted back a little bit further to get that extension that you don't have. Okay. So we didn't maintain the 90. We didn't thrust backwards with the elbow and shoulder. We don't get full extension. We attack the ball with an improper angle. And we pound it into the ground of the third baseman. Okay. So here we have you mocked up with Sawyer just to get a look at two different approaches to hitting that pitch. Let's roll these. You can see that Sawyer hits the ball not on the best upward trajectory, but probably 14 to 16 degrees upward, just left of the center fielder. Okay. So if you extend Sawyer's bat, you can see at this point in time, he's in almost full leg still. The bat's behind him. You can see that the bat's pointing right at the ball, cutting through it with a laser. His hands, at this point in the swing, you can see are a little bit further inside. Not a lot, maybe 4 or 5 inches. He simply dropped the hands, sent the bat rearward, brought the hands inside him and forward straight to the ball. And you can see he hits the ball flush. You can see here that to hit the ball flush, you got to be behind the ball, coming through the ball in the right plane. And you can see here, just before contact, you're over the ball. And you don't hit it flush, obviously, because it does not travel the direction your bat is traveling. Okay? If you're going to hit the ball flush, your bat has to be traveling on the same plane that the ball's on. Okay? And it all mostly has to do with how you start the bat. Again, mastering the snap drill, pulling the hands instead of casting, and then getting to that power V when you can. Again, Sawyer doesn't have the best extension here, but due to proper bat leg, he's probably got really good or decent bat speed here, and it's an inside pitch, so he does have to pull around sooner. Okay. So same pitch, different results. Okay, so here's a outside pitch. Looks to be the outer half of the plate, at or just above the waist. Okay. And you get a really good hit on the ball. You got a good trajectory. Decent extension, better than some of your other pitches here that we've looked at. Okay. You smack the ball to left field at a good trajectory. By all accounts, that looks like a really good pitch. Okay. The things I want to point out here is that when practicing and building your swing, going opposite field with the right pitches is really something you should concentrate on. On this pitch here, you're pretty darn close to the plate there, as you can see. It's hard to get that proper extension and attack the ball correctly when you're on top of the plate like that, and you're going to hit it to left field like that. Let's take a look at some other options here. Okay, let's see how Aaron Judge attacks this pitch. Okay. Here he starts his hands, turns his 90, rolls out of it, slices it with the laser off the end of his bat, pulls his hands, bat comes down on the right plane and he hits it out of the park opposite field. Okay? So again, it's not that you didn't produce good results with that swing, but a complete hitter is going to learn how to hit the outside pitch in this manner, and he's going to become completely proficient at it in the practice scenario. Okay? You can see how far he is off the plate so he can get the proper extension. He's thrusted his left elbow upward, rear shouldered backwards. He's got a beautiful 90-degree triangle with the hands, elbows, and forearms. Okay. Gets beautiful extension right there with his power V pointed right at us. Okay. As we look at your elbows and hands and forearms, you can see that his 90 degree is closer to 90 right there at about the same position in the swing. Okay. Let's watch you roll to the ball. You do everything a lot better here, but your path to the ball, due to how you perform the snap drill right there, is something in the practice scenario where you want to be able to just smack every ball that's in that position on the plate to the right field as hard as you can. It's something you got to practice and practice more and practice even more. Okay. All right, Chris, so let's just take a look at another pitch. Let's roll this here, and we're going to finish up on this here, but I want to make a point here that is pretty common with a lot of your contact. If you take a look here at your contact, and we touched on it earlier, if we take a look at this right here, if we look at your contact, I would say on at least 80 to 90% of your swings, you're not getting flush contact, okay? So if we roll this video around a little bit, you're going to see, yeah, you make good contact. The ball heads upward at a 22-degree plane trajectory, probably somewhere in that nature. That's what we're shooting for. You do shoot this one to the opposite field. It's a middle, maybe middle low pitch. But as you can see right there, you're not contacting the ball flushly, okay? You are not on the same plane with the ball. The ball travels in a different direction than your bat is traveling, okay? So you're coming more downward and to the left than where the ball is going, okay? anytime that happens, you're not getting maximum bat speed and velocity, exit velocity with your hit, okay? So again, just look at that right there at contact. That's not flush contact, okay? The bat's a little bit above the ball's a little bit above the center of the bat as you're coming through it. And that has everything to do with the snap drill and pulling your hands through the ball and cutting it with a laser, okay? So again, you're probably on top of the plate just a little bit here, not allowing yourself full extension. You're casting the bat there just a little bit. Again, losing your 90-degree triangle. Okay. And that's the biggest point I want to make to you is hitting the ball flush is very important. If you're going to get full power and hit the ball as far as your swing will allow, you're going to be flush. You're going to be behind the ball, coming through the ball. And as we look at your swings, if I had to pick a percentage, it's going to be, less than 10%. You're actually truly coming through the ball and making flush contact. So again, this is where we're going to conclude your lesson, but in review of everything here, we really need to get the snap drill, the laser drill, pulling the hands and going to your power V. Really something that I would like you to talk to as many people as you can about, come to a conclusion about the action plan and the steps you need to take to get there. If you agree with what I'm saying, great. If you don't, get some other opinions, find out what they are. Let's talk about it. Let's get you in the cage and let's get maximum benefit from your swing that we can, bud. So anyway, this is going to conclude your lesson. I'm going to attach your swings in totality so you can look at them. Now that you're aware of some of these things we've talked about, you can study these things and look at them for yourself and go from there.
I'm going to come back, we're going to load, and then I'm going to throw. And Kyle, you're the last one, right?
A lot of that
Go. Kyle, you're up, buddy.